It's no secret that normally playing Starfield, the game will drip you so little XP that your character will look more malnourished than mine. And those sweet skills you look at so longingly after 40 hours of gameplay are nowhere in sight. Now, aside from being rather funny real-life simulator, there has to be a better way. Well, luckily there is. I jacked up my character full of XP that it nearly exploded on both ends. That is to say, I went from my 50-hour-ish normal gameplay character of 35 levels to within 6 hours of quality gameplay of level 119. And not only that, but I also got so much crap to sell. You can see I'm literally drowning in it. So come with me and I'll show you how to solve the two of the biggest annoying problems of Starfield's gameplay: XP and money farming at the same time. Alright, I'll have some useful chapters for this, so feel free to use them. And so, let's jump into the Preamble. Obviously, the forewarning. If you want to play the game naturally, just do it. In fact, I recommend it, because just like visiting America, there's no better way to experience how bad it is. Let's be frank, the game is super stingy with the XP, and by the end of your first playthrough of literal 40 hours finishing the main story, you'll have barely enough XP and levels to get a few of the novice tier skills at most. And while money might not be such a big issue, who could say no? Plus, buying and building ships takes a load of credits, so regardless, you'll need it. Right, we good? Alright, let's move on to what you'll need for this. First then, requirements. You'll need a few materials to get started. Basically, I recommend heading to your local resource dealer. Buying up their whole stock will probably be enough to get you started, but just in case, pick a few more. Next then, planets. There's a lot of planets in Starfield, but eventually you'll find one that hosts exact crack cocaine mines that you crave for. What you need is iron and aluminium. And yes, Americans, that's how you pronounce it. Yes, that's right. As the thumbnail of the video already suggested, the farm is to make endless supply of adaptive frames, 1 XP at a time. Yep, even that is faster what the game gives you naturally. Let that sink in. Anyways, the full credit for this farm goes to Rage Gaming Videos. However, their claim of 150,000 XP a minute is such lies. Now I wonder whose ass did they pull those numbers from? Now while it's kinda hard to gauge, my best was 15,000 XP in 2 minutes and 40 seconds. And you know, I'm no mathematician, but their claim smells like... I smell bullshit! Now moving on then. While you can do this on any planet with iron and aluminium, I'm doing this on Linnaeus 4b. Additionally, you should probably look into creating macros for this. This will speed up the farm a lot. I, for example, have Logitech G502, one of the most popular mice in the world, and there's a good chance that you have it too. So here's the macro I ended up using. And that's all you'll ever need. No ship crap, just enough fuel and jump range to get there. Now, once you land on the planet, you'll need a spot for your outpost that has both iron and aluminium deposits. Now, what I ended up doing was land, select outpost. At the top left corner, you can see the materials that the base would have within its borders. If within a minute I couldn't find anything, I lifted off and tried again. Now that I found the spot, it was time to start building out the farm. Iron extractors on one side, aluminium ones on the other. And we're done! It's time for termite! Here, all you need is just enough juice to get the extractors going. Solar arrays or wind turbines. And finally, the place to put all of this crap. Of course, in time, as you're producing more and more of the stuff, you'll be able to build out even more storage because, well, guess what? They're using exactly the same materials that you're producing and gathering. How wonderful is that? Next up, start linking all the extractors of the same type to one single storage container. After that, link all the other storage containers in sequence. And finally, build somewhere to sleep and an industrial workshop next to it. And that's it! If you want to, add an extra landing pad so you don't have to go as far, and a cargo thing to connect it to your spaceship, but really they're unnecessary. After hours of fucking about, trying different macros and sorting, I realized you don't need to pick up materials and put them in your storage. Industrial Workbench automatically has access to all the materials in the outpost. So, all that's left at this point is... Here, the routine will be very simple. Sleep.
Wake the fuck up.
Get the 10% bonus XP for being well rested, and of course for materials to generate. Then head over to the workbench and start clicking and spamming the macro. Or if you don't have that, I guess the good old manual arm grease will generate a real-world carpal tunnel. I seriously can't recommend enough of getting some kind of auto hotkey or a macro, because this, what you're seeing right now, is not sped up footage. It's brutal. Still, within about 5 hours of this, eventually min-maxed farm, you'll generate enough XP to get to the level of 100 from 0. And that's a good enough jumping off point in the world of Starfield. Now what's left over is really the tons of materials for both crafting and selling. So to sell stuff, just head on over to your favorite city and find the nearest trader. Sell and buy whatever you want. Next, find a seat to wait the 24 hours, and the stock is refreshed and you can sell again. This will generate insane amounts of money as a fucking byproduct. So, is it fun? Well, no, not particularly. Is it game-breaking? Also, surprisingly, not really. And yet it's certainly not the best way to experience the game. I did this after finishing the main story, after realizing how grindy the game is in resources, money, and XP. Sure, there are the console commands, i.e. cheat codes that do it a lot faster with less problems. But the beauty of this farm is, I guess, that it's still part of the game. Oh, and also the frame rate of this farm will be chugging quite a bit with those small storage boxes, so upgrading the outpost probably is a good idea later down the line. Still, the cool thing about this farm is that everything it produces is also used for building it. Well, except for power and sleeping, I guess. So thanks to this farm, money and XP becomes quite irrelevant. All that's really left is to find a place to dump it. So, if this helped you out, well, maybe toss a buck my way on the Patreon, or hey, just check out other stuff I do down below. As for now, yeah, I'm gonna go and find a way to dump all this.